Alex Carter tapped his fingers on the dashboard of the small electric car, his nerves humming like the engine itself. It was his first day at the city's new driving academy, a sleek glass building with holographic signs flashing, "Learn to drive for life and beyond." Driving, for most people, was just a skill, something to get a license and move from one place to another. But Alex had always been curious about everything unusual, and this academy promised lessons that were different. "Are you ready?" A soft, calm voice broke through his thoughts. Alex looked up to see Instructor Vega standing beside the car. She was tall, with a gentle smile and eyes that seemed to notice every detail at once. There was something about her that made Alex's nervousness feel smaller, as if he could trust her completely. "Yeah, I think so," he said, trying to sound more confident than he felt. Vega nodded. "Good. Remember, ease into it." Alex blinked. "Ease into it?" he asked. "Like, not speed too fast?" Vega smiled again, a small curve that didn't fully explain itself. "Exactly," she said. "But also, ease into more than the car. Pay attention." Alex shrugged, thinking she meant he was overthinking. After all, it was just driving. He adjusted the seat and mirrors, his hands gripping the smooth steering wheel. The car hummed quietly as he turned the key, or, more accurately, tapped the ignition on the touchscreen panel. "First, just start moving slowly," Vega instructed. "Feel the car, feel the road." Alex pressed the accelerator gently, and the car rolled forward. At first, it felt normal, smooth, easy. The city outside glimmered in late afternoon light. Tall glass buildings reflecting the sun. Pedestrians moved like ants along the sidewalks. Cars zipped by automatically, guided by invisible traffic patterns. Most of the vehicles were self-driving, but Alex loved the feel of control, of being the one making decisions. "Good," Vega said. "Now, a small turn." Alex turned the wheel. The car responded perfectly, tilting slightly as it moved along the corner. He noticed the way Vega's eyes never left him, not even for a second. It made him feel like she could see more than just his driving, maybe even his thoughts. "Ease into it," she said again. Alex laughed nervously. "I'm easing, I think." Vega's smile was patient. "It's more than speed. Ease your mind, too." Alex frowned. He had no idea what she meant. His mind was full of traffic rules, mirrors, pedals, and the strange glow of the city outside. How could he ease his mind? They drove along empty streets at first, Vega giving him simple instructions: accelerate, brake, turn, stop. But slowly, the exercises began to feel strange, not dangerous, just unusual. She asked him to take turns in ways that seemed impossible, as if the car itself was lighter than air. At one point, she told him to accelerate and then suddenly stop without touching the brake. The car obeyed perfectly, and Alex felt a thrill he couldn't describe. Did we just stop in midair?" he asked, his heart beating fast. Vega laughed softly. "Nothing is quite as it seems when you're learning. Ease into it, Alex. Notice." Alex tried to focus, but his thoughts kept wandering. There was a strange clarity in his mind now, a feeling he had never felt before while driving. He could almost predict when a pedestrian would move, when a traffic light would change, when a car would swerve slightly. It was like the city was speaking to him, and he just had to listen. As they drove, he noticed other things, small things at first. The way the sunlight bounced off glass surfaces, the way birds moved in patterns above the streets. Even the wind seemed to guide the car. He realized he was noticing the world in a way he never had before, all while driving. "Good," Vega said, her voice calm but firm. "You're noticing. That is important." Alex swallowed. "Noticing what?" "Everything," Vega replied. "Everything is connected. The car, the road, the city, your mind. You have to ease into it altogether." He nodded, though he wasn't sure he understood. The lesson continued, and Vega guided him through exercises that were both ordinary and strange. They practiced sharp turns, smooth curves, and sudden stops. But then she asked him to do something unusual: drive through an empty plaza in the city center while keeping his focus entirely on the invisible lines between objects. Alex tried, following her instructions carefully. He could feel his own movements blending with the car, with the city, almost as if he was part of something larger. For a moment he felt weightless, not because of speed, but because of awareness. "Excellent," Vega said. "You're easing in nicely." Alex laughed. "I think I'm starting to get it." "But get what?" Vega didn't answer immediately. She let him drive a few more minutes in silence, watching him. Then she said softly, "You'll know when you do." By the end of the lesson, Alex was exhausted but exhilarated. His hands tingled and his mind buzzed with new awareness. He realized that he had been driving differently, not just moving a car, but feeling the city, the road, and even his own mind in ways he couldn't describe. "Tomorrow we'll continue," Vega said, turning off the car. "Remember, it's not just about the wheel. Ease into everything slowly. Patience is power." Alex nodded, still trying to process the day. "Okay, I think I understand." Vega's smile was warm but mysterious. "You will, in time." As Alex left the car and walked toward the academy building, he looked back at the empty streets. Everything seemed the same, and yet somehow, nothing was. The city felt alive in a way it never had before. Pedestrians moved like living patterns, cars glided with purpose, and even the sunlight seemed to have weight. He wondered, not for the first time, what exactly he was learning. Was it driving, or something far bigger? That night, Alex dreamed of the city, but not as it was. The streets twisted and turned in impossible ways. Buildings floated above ground, cars moved like dancers, weaving through invisible paths. And Vega's voice echoed softly in his mind. "Ease into it." He woke up with a start, heart racing, and smiled. He didn't know what the future held, but he felt ready. The lessons were only beginning, and already he could feel that this driving school was not ordinary. It was something far beyond ordinary, and Alex knew, somehow, that he was about to discover just how extraordinary it could be. And somewhere deep in his mind, a quiet thrill whispered, maybe driving wasn't just about the car at all. The next morning, Alex arrived at the academy early. The city was quiet, the streets washed in a pale golden light as the sun rose. He felt a mixture of excitement and curiosity. He wasn't sure what today would bring. His first lesson had left him both exhilarated and confused, and he had spent the night thinking about Vega's words. Ease into more than the car. Pay attention. As he stepped into the sleek academy building, Vega was already waiting. She stood near the entrance, arms folded, eyes calm but alert. When she saw him, her smile was faint, almost knowing. "Good morning, Alex," she said. "Are you ready to continue?" Alex nodded eagerly. "Yes, I think I'm ready." Vega motioned him toward the car. "Today we go beyond simple driving. Today, you will notice the connections you did not see yesterday." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Connections?" Vega only smiled. "You'll see." He slid into the driver's seat, still marveling at how comfortable the car felt. Even though it was a small, ordinary-looking vehicle, something about it felt alive. He shook off the thought and focused on the road. "First, a warm-up," Vega said. "Just drive. Relax. Watch everything around you." Alex started slowly. As he drove, he noticed things he hadn't before. The way sunlight reflected off glass windows created patterns on the pavement. A flock of birds flew in perfect formation above the street. Even the wind seemed to move in rhythmic pulses, brushing against the car with gentle consistency. "It's all connected," Vega said quietly, as if reading his thoughts. "Notice how the city breathes, how the traffic flows, even how the smallest gestures of people create patterns. Humans, machines, nature, it all moves together." Alex blinked. He had never thought about it this way. Driving, until now, had been about rules, pedals, and steering. But he could feel it. Some kind of rhythm, subtle but undeniable. "Now," Vega continued, "we will begin something different." She handed him a small, transparent device. "This will help you see what you cannot normally see." Alex turned the device over in his hands. It looked like a simple screen at first, but as he activated it, the city around him seemed to shift. Roads glowed faintly, connecting to one another like a network. Pedestrians and vehicles had thin trails of light tracing their paths. Even the birds above left luminous streaks in the air. What is this?" Alex whispered. "It's a way to visualize flow," Vega said. "Flow of movement, energy, attention. It helps you understand the patterns that govern everything. The better you understand them, the better you can ease into it, into life itself." Alex took a deep breath and started driving. At first, the glowing lines were overwhelming. Every movement seemed exaggerated, every path highlighted. But slowly, he began to follow them naturally, anticipating turns, noticing stops, and predicting movements before they happened. He could feel the city guiding him, and he guided it back, in harmony. "This is amazing," he said. "It's like the city is alive." Vega's eyes twinkled. "It is alive. You just didn't notice before." The lesson became more challenging as Vega introduced exercises that tested both mind and reflexes. She asked Alex to navigate a street filled with floating obstacles, signs, platforms, even small vehicles that appeared out of nowhere. The car responded instantly to his touch, and Alex began to notice something strange. He didn't just react to the obstacles. He could anticipate them. "It's like I know where they're going?" he asked, gripping the wheel tightly. "Exactly," Vega said. "Easing into it is about trusting your instincts. Humans have the ability to sense patterns, to see possibilities that machines cannot. That is your advantage." Alex felt a rush of excitement. He had always been curious about his own abilities, but he had never imagined driving could awaken something so intuitive. "Now," Vega said, "we will try something different. Something that challenges not just your skills, but your mind." She led him to an empty plaza in the city center. The space was enormous and seemed ordinary at first. But then, as Alex drove into it, the plaza transformed. The roads shifted like ribbons, creating multiple paths simultaneously. The buildings around him shimmered as if they were reflecting possibilities instead of reality. Alex's heart raced. This isn't real." Vega shook her head. "It is real. Just not the way you are used to seeing. Ease into it. Do not panic. Trust your awareness." Alex took a deep breath. He focused on the glowing lines, on the patterns of movement. Slowly, he began to navigate the plaza, shifting between paths that appeared and disappeared, noticing how every movement created a ripple effect. Every turn he took influenced the path ahead. This is incredible," he said, feeling a thrill unlike anything he had experienced. "It's like I'm dancing with the city." Vega nodded. "You are learning to flow with more than the car. You are learning to flow with life." Hours passed, though Alex could not tell how long. The plaza transformed constantly, testing his focus, his patience, and his decision-making. At times, he felt lost, unsure which path to follow. But every time he hesitated, he remembered Vega's words. Ease into it. He learned to move carefully but confidently, to trust his instincts. and to notice even the smallest details. By the end of the lesson, Alex felt exhausted but exhilarated. His mind buzzed with awareness he had never known. The city, the car, the paths, they all felt like extensions of himself. He realized that driving under Vega's guidance was not about speed or rules. It was about perception, attention, and intuition. Vega smiled as he parked the car. "You did well today?" "Very well." Alex wiped sweat from his forehead. I didn't know driving could be like this. It's more than driving." "It always is," Vega said softly. "The car is just a tool. The real lesson is learning to ease into life, to trust yourself, to notice what others overlook. Humans have potential that no machine can replicate. That is what I am helping you discover." Alex nodded slowly. He still didn't fully understand, but he could feel the truth of her words. Something inside him had shifted. He could sense possibilities, patterns, and connections in ways he never had before. As they walked back to the academy, Vega spoke again. "Tomorrow we will explore deeper challenges. You will navigate not just the city, but decisions, possibilities, and choices. The car is only the beginning." Alex's mind raced with anticipation. He had never felt this alive, this aware. Each lesson seemed to open a new door inside him, revealing abilities and understanding he had never imagined. That night, Alex dreamed again. This time, the city in his dreams was more alive than ever. Roads stretched and curved in impossible directions. Cars floated gracefully, following invisible rhythms. Pedestrians moved with fluid, purposeful motions, and everywhere, light trails connected people, vehicles, and buildings. He could see patterns forming, changing, and reshaping themselves. And somewhere in the distance, Vega's voice whispered, "Ease into it. Always ease into it." Alex woke with a start, heart pounding but smiling. He could feel the city's rhythm still in his mind, still guiding him. He realized that he was not just learning to drive, he was learning to understand the world in a way few humans ever would. For the first time, he understood that the lessons were not about the car. They were about him, about potential, awareness, and the quiet power of observation. He felt ready for whatever came next, eager to explore the mysteries Vega had promised. And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The morning air was cool and crisp when Alex arrived at the academy. Today, the streets of the city felt different, quieter, as if holding their breath. He had spent the night thinking about the glowing paths, the floating obstacles, and the strange awareness he had felt the day before. The lessons were no longer about driving a car. They were about understanding himself, his instincts, and the world around him. Instructor Vega was waiting at the academy's entrance, her calm smile a beacon in the early light. "Good morning, Alex," she said. "Are you ready for your true test?" Alex's heart skipped a beat. "Test?" he asked, gripping his bag nervously. "I thought we were just learning." Vega tilted her head slightly, her eyes gentle but serious. "Learning is the first step. Today you will face challenges that will test not only your skill, but your mind and your judgment. The car is only a tool. The real journey is within you." Alex nodded, trying to steady his excitement and nerves. He followed Vega to the familiar small car. The vehicle seemed ordinary again, but he already knew that appearances could be deceiving. "First, we will begin with a warm-up," Vega said as Alex started the car. "Remember everything you learned. Observe, anticipate, and trust yourself." Alex eased into the driver's seat, feeling the hum of the car beneath him. He noticed the streets seemed more alive than ever. The patterns of traffic, pedestrians, and even the wind formed subtle rhythms that guided his movements. Today, though, the exercises were different. Vega instructed him to drive through a wide avenue lined with holographic markers. Each marker pulsed softly, indicating paths that changed every few moments. Alex realized he had to make split-second decisions, predicting which path would remain stable long enough for him to pass. At first, it was confusing. His mind raced, trying to keep up with the constant changes. But then he remembered Vega's words. Ease into it. He took a deep breath and allowed himself to relax, trusting his instincts. Slowly, he began to move in harmony with the glowing paths, weaving through the markers with fluid precision. "This is incredible," Alex whispered, a thrill running through him. "It's like I can see the city thinking, and I'm thinking with it." Vega nodded. "Yes, you are learning to flow with what is, not just react to what you see. That is the power of patience and awareness." After several rounds of navigation, Vega guided Alex to a larger, empty plaza at the center of the city. The moment he entered, the environment transformed. The plaza stretched in impossible ways, roads twisting and shifting in real time. Floating platforms, transparent bridges, and hovering vehicles appeared, creating a puzzle of movement. "This is your true test," Vega said. "Navigate through this space. But remember, speed is not your ally. Observation, patience, and foresight are." Alex swallowed, feeling the weight of the challenge. The plaza seemed endless, yet every move he made affected the paths ahead. One wrong turn could force him to backtrack, but there was no fear, only focus. He eased into each decision, watching the patterns, anticipating how the obstacles would shift. Hours seemed to pass in what felt like minutes. Alex learned to predict not just the movement of the vehicles and platforms, but the subtle rhythms of the plaza itself. He noticed how even the smallest action, turning the wheel slightly, adjusting his speed, created ripples that affected everything else. "This is amazing," he said aloud. "It's like I'm part of the city, part of the system." Vega smiled. "Exactly. You are learning the human advantage. Machines can follow rules, but humans can sense patterns, adapt, and respond with intuition. That is your strength." Then came the final stage of the test. Vega instructed Alex to drive while simultaneously making small choices presented on a holographic interface inside the car. Each choice was moral or strategic, affecting the behavior of virtual citizens, vehicles, and the environment. For example, he had to decide whether to let a group of vehicles pass first or take the shortcut himself. Another time, he needed to anticipate a pedestrian's movement and adjust the path for safety without stopping abruptly. Alex felt his mind expand. Every choice required careful attention and empathy. He realized that this test was not about driving alone. It was about understanding cause and effect, predicting consequences, and making decisions that considered more than just his own success. At one point, a complex scenario appeared. Multiple paths converged, and pedestrians, vehicles, and drones moved unpredictably. Alex's heart raced. He felt overwhelmed for the first time, unsure of which path to take. He glanced at Vega, who nodded encouragingly. "Ease into it," she said. "Trust your awareness." Alex closed his eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and let intuition guide him. He felt the flow of the environment, the rhythm of movement, the subtle hints of patterns, and chose a path that allowed him to navigate the convergence safely. The plaza shifted in response, opening new possibilities that had seemed impossible moments before. He opened his eyes and smiled. The challenge had been daunting, but he had succeeded. Vega's approval was silent but powerful, and Alex felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any he had known. "You have done well," Vega said softly. "You have learned to ease into life itself, to trust your instincts and to notice what others might miss. That is the human advantage. That is why you are unique." Alex felt a warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride and wonder. He had always known humans had potential beyond machines, but today, He felt it firsthand. His mind was sharper, more aware, and his confidence in himself had grown. As they drove back to the academy, Vega spoke again. "Tomorrow we will explore even more possibilities. You will learn not just to navigate the city, but to understand how your actions influence the world around you. You are ready." Alex nodded, feeling a quiet thrill. He had faced his true test and had learned that the lessons were far more than they appeared. The car was a tool, yes, but the real lesson was the human mind and the ability to flow with life, anticipate change, and respond with intuition and care. That night, Alex dreamed again. The city in his dreams was alive with movement and light. Roads shifted like ribbons, vehicles floated gracefully, and pedestrians moved in intricate, synchronized patterns. Every decision he made affected the paths around him, creating a web of possibilities. And through it all, Vega's calm voice echoed. "Ease into it. Always ease into it." Alex woke with a smile. He knew the next lesson would push him further, but he felt ready. He understood now that the academy was not just teaching him to drive, it was teaching him to live with awareness, patience, and insight. For the first time, he felt truly connected to the world, and he knew that his journey had only just begun. The morning sunlight spilled across the city, soft and warm, painting the streets in gold. Alex Carter felt a nervous excitement as he walked toward the academy. Today was different. He could feel it in the air. The lessons so far had pushed him to notice the hidden patterns of the city, to trust his instincts, and to see possibilities that most people never considered. But Vega had promised that today would be the ultimate challenge. "Good morning, Alex," Vega said, her calm voice always carrying that strange certainty that made everything seem possible. "Today, you will navigate not only the streets, but your choices, your awareness, and your understanding of what it means to be human." Alex swallowed, gripping his bag. "I'm ready," he said, though a part of him wondered how ready anyone could be for something like this. Vega led him to the small electric car they had used in every lesson. It looked ordinary, yet Alex knew better now. This vehicle had carried him through exercises that were far beyond ordinary driving. It had carried him into awareness itself. "Step inside," Vega said. "Everything you have learned will be tested, combined, and stretched. Ease into it and trust yourself." Alex climbed into the seat, the familiar hum of the engine greeting him. He adjusted the mirrors, gripped the wheel, and took a deep breath. Today, the city would not be the same as yesterday. It never was. "Begin," Vega instructed. The car rolled forward, and immediately the streets transformed. Roads twisted and curved in impossible ways, creating multiple paths simultaneously. Buildings shimmered as if alive, reflecting not only the sunlight but possibilities, choices, and potential outcomes. The city had become a living puzzle. Alex's heart raced, but he reminded himself to ease into it. He focused on the glowing lines that indicated movement, the subtle pulses that showed where paths were stable, and the rhythm of the floating obstacles that seemed to respond to him. The first challenge was simple. At least, it looked simple. Navigate through a street where multiple paths crossed, anticipating not only the movements of vehicles and pedestrians, but also the way the streets themselves might shift. Alex felt the thrill of anticipation in his chest. He noticed patterns he hadn't before, a pedestrian's slight hesitation, a drone's smooth curve, the rhythm of traffic lights. Each observation allowed him to move with confidence, flowing with the city rather than against it. "Excellent," Vega said from the passenger seat, her calm presence steadying him. "You are learning to trust your instincts. That is the key." The next challenge was more complex. The city now felt like a web of interconnected realities. Roads appeared and disappeared, platforms hovered unpredictably, and glowing pathways stretched into the sky. Holographic interfaces appeared inside the car, presenting Alex with decisions that affected virtual citizens, vehicles, and environmental changes. Each decision was subtle, but important. Should he let a group of vehicles pass first, or take a shortcut himself? Should he adjust a bridge for floating pedestrians or follow the path suggested by the glowing lines? Every choice had consequences. Alex felt his mind expand. He realized this was not about the car. It was about understanding cause and effect, seeing patterns, and making decisions that considered more than his own success. This was the culmination of everything Vega had taught him. Hours seemed to pass in moments. Alex navigated through impossible intersections, anticipated obstacles before they appeared, and made choices that harmonized with the city's rhythm. He felt like he was dancing, not just with the car, but with reality itself. Then came the final scenario. The city dissolved into layers of shifting possibilities. Roads, buildings, and bridges floated and rearranged themselves constantly. Holographic paths connected different realities, and Alex realized he could move between them, almost like walking through dreams. "This is your ultimate test," Vega said softly. "You must navigate all possibilities, not just one path. Trust your mind, your instincts, and your heart." Alex felt a surge of fear and excitement. He had never faced anything like this. Every choice mattered. Every movement created ripples across realities. He could feel the weight of responsibility, not in a frightening way, but in a way that made him aware of his potential. He focused, letting his awareness expand. He noticed how actions in one layer affected outcomes in another. He saw the faint glow of possibilities that could be chosen and the subtle shadows of paths that would vanish. He remembered Vega's words, "Ease into it." Slowly, Alex moved. He let intuition guide him, observing without rushing, trusting the patterns and anticipating the consequences. He began to see not just a single path, but the connections between them all. He made choices that created harmony across multiple possibilities, solving problems before they became obstacles. Hours felt like minutes, but Alex did not feel tired. He felt alive, aware, and powerful in a way that had nothing to do with speed or skill. He was not just driving, he was understanding, adapting, and thriving in a complex, living system. At the climax of the exercise, the city shimmered, and a quiet calm settled over him. The impossible paths aligned, the glowing lines merged into a coherent flow, and the holographic interfaces faded. Alex realized he had succeeded, not by winning, but by understanding. Vega turned to him with a rare smile. "You have done it, Alex. You have eased into infinity. You have learned to trust yourself, to observe, and to harmonize with the world around you. That is the true lesson." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. He understood now that the car, the city, and even the exercises had been a metaphor. Humanity's strength was not in machines or technology, it was in intuition, creativity, patience, and awareness. Those qualities could navigate complexity, adapt to change, and thrive in uncertainty. As they drove back to the academy, Vega said, "The lessons are over, but your journey is just beginning. You have seen the potential within yourself. Now you can take it into the world." Alex nodded, feeling a profound sense of clarity. He looked out at the city, seeing it not just as streets and buildings, but as a living network of possibilities, rhythms, and choices. Every person, vehicle, and movement was connected. Every decision mattered. And he was ready to move through it all with awareness, patience, and care. That night, Alex dreamed again. The city in his dreams was alive with shifting roads, floating platforms, and glowing pathways that connected realities. He moved with ease, making choices that harmonized with everything around him. He realized that he could flow with life itself, noticing patterns, anticipating outcomes, and trusting himself fully. And through it all, Vega's calm voice whispered, "Ease into it. Always ease into it." Alex woke with a smile. The lessons had changed him. He was not just a driver, he was a thinker, a watcher, a human capable of perceiving patterns and navigating complexity with awareness and intuition. The city, the world, and even life itself no longer felt overwhelming. They felt alive, full of possibilities, and ready to be understood. He stood by the window, looking at the streets below. Cars moved automatically, pedestrians walked with purpose, and sunlight glimmered on the glass buildings. Everything seemed ordinary, and yet everything had changed. Alex knew that this was only the beginning. There would always be challenges, shifts, and surprises. But now he understood that the way to face them was simple. Ease into it. Notice, trust, and flow. That was the human advantage. That was the power of awareness. And with a quiet laugh, Alex realized he had never felt more alive. The city waited, full of endless possibilities, and Alex was ready to meet them all.